like I said, to see these kids who are fighting cancer is amazing with the courage that they have. Sure, they cry and they throw up and they don't like the things that are happening, but to be able to just chat with you and you come in the room, and you're like, how are you so intelligent? And that's the thing too, is, here's these kids, they're learning medical terms that you're like, I don't know what a PICC line is, but they do, and they can tell you what the chemicals are in the bag and what it's going to affect and what cells it's going to hit, and you're just like, you should know that. You shouldn't know that. But they do, and they can communicate it very effectively to you, and with a not only like a compassion for themselves of what's happening, but compassion for other kids on the floor as well.
Woodfil today with, give it up for Leslie. Thank you for coming in. She's with the Childhood Cancer Coalition, and she has amazing stories. It's a great opportunity for you guys to be able to engage and help out the youth of our nation. Now, your host, Jonathan Byron. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody that is here in the room. We have one more coming that's going to just slide in once we get started, so we'll figure him into it. But it is Friday.
Yay.
And it is the weekend coming up. We're getting into September. I mean, we're in September, but we're getting into that fall weather. We had a little tease of it. Now it's kind of hot again, but I think we have a little bit of rain in the forecast and stuff like that. But today is the third Friday, so we're talking about the young people, the next generation, and we won't jump into it too much right now. We'll get to it in a minute, but Leslie is here from Childhood Cancer Coalition, and so we're going to be talking a little bit about that aspect of this younger generation. So I'm very excited about that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Excellent. What we'll do is what we do every week is we'll kick off to the left, and by way of introductions, we're talking about name, industry, or business name, or some other kind of who you are and what you do is the main thing. And then any event that's coming up that you are wanting to promote or talk about, whether you're going to the event, whether you are hosting an event, or just know about an event that you wish you could go to, but you think that people should know about in general. And then this week, we're kind of adding in, how old are you and how old is old? And you don't have to answer that, but for fun and also to kind of get a little bit of our topic going, I'm curious what the perspective is on all of that. So I know it's impolite to ask people's age, and so I'm asking the whole group, and if you feel uncomfortable, you can pass and say not applicable or whatever, but if you're comfortable with sharing that, and if you're comfortable with saying in your estimation, what is old, and for those of you in the comments on Facebook that are watching, chime in with your age and what old is to you, and we'll go from there. So kicking it off to my left.
Hi, I'm Leonidas Byron. I'm currently not doing anything business related, but I might start raking leaves during the fall. I'm 14. 16 is old, I'm sorry.
The rest of us are all old.
All right. Hi, everyone. Rob Ruder with Idic Designs. I work with small businesses and individuals in trying to help them strategize their best ideal technology to become efficient and effective as individuals and owners, business owners in our technology-driven world. Age, well, let me put it this way. This week I got a letter from the Social Security Department informing me as to what my expected retirement payouts were going to be. And my living age, I don't know why they sent this to me because I am very firmly in my 30s. That is.
What's up, everybody? My name is Steve Hicks. I am probably the biggest Godzilla fan in the fitness industry. God, we got a lot this week, Jonathan. Who you are, events. So I'm attending Dave Ribble's Standout Mastery event tomorrow. Excited to go to that. I want to give a shout out to the previous gentleman, Rob Ruder. He's got open office hours to help with tech needs. I connected him with Cody Volk, so hopefully he'll be taking advantage of that. That's a great opportunity. And then I'm starting a Godzilla marathon next Wednesday, where if you connect with me on Facebook, you can see a review for every Godzilla movie, one a day, up until Godzilla Day on November 3rd. Told you I'm the biggest Godzilla fan in the fitness industry. In age. When I walked in, Rob said that I was Mr. 35 going on 17, so I'm 35, and for me, old is not specifically a number, it's a feeling, right? And I've always said that millennials felt like they were the oldest generation, because when I was in my 20s, I had a lot of friends that were getting shoulder surgeries and knee surgeries and complaining about back pain, and it confused me because I looked at them like, guys, you're not in your 40s, what are you doing? And so I think old is just when your body starts to fight against you, and there's a lot of stuff we can do to prevent that. You're good. Welcome in, boss.
Dude, how you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see everybody. Hello. Hello.
You're actually, if you're gonna sit there, you're perfect timing. We're saying name,
I heard you on the Facebook.
industry,
An event coming up potentially.
event coming up, and then what's your age and how old is old?
Oh,
We'll let Joe start, and then if you want to.
All right, fine. Hi, Facebook group followers. How are you? Hope you're doing well. My name is Joshua. I'm with Credit Fix Joe is the industry type, but we really kind of work with people on all levels, inside out, top down. It takes a lot to get someone's life back together. Credit's just one aspect, so that's what we work on. This is my partner, Natalie. She does a lot of work in the background, keeping clients happy, communicating, keeping forms happy, all that kind of stuff. So we're a really good team with different aspects. But events coming up, 10/23, Hotel Indigo, 4 p.m. We have a big alignable event coming up. Spokane Alliance just started. It's split off the Idaho Alliance, so we have a lot of members that just joined rapidly because they're in Spokane already. So we got a couple hundred people there already within the last 30 days. First event went great, and I think that's all I have to say. Right? Am I done?
Did you do age?
43, and I mean, I don't know what's old. I guess is it a number or is it a physical, state of mind, or is it a being? So I feel like you can be young in your mind forever, and I feel like you get old when you stop trying to be, active and involved with people's lives. So I don't ever want to call myself old physically. Whatever. It is what it is. It happens to everybody equally. That's all I got. Thank you. Oh, shoot. It's your turn now. Backward.
Natalie, if you want to kind of just add in a little bit, or you just got here, so we could give you a pass.
Yeah, give me a moment.
Okay, yeah, you got it. We'll come back around.
Thank you. Lisa Miller. I am an arbitrator and private judge, and I'm doing our legal minute. And time me.
Okay, yes, timer starting shortly. Go ahead.
So the Dodd-Frank Act was enacted in response to banking problems. I'm sure in your business you're very familiar.
Never heard it.
Yeah, never heard of it. I just never.
Oh, well, hi, nice to meet you.
So there are small businesses that get credit advances, and the issue was, is that considered credit within the meaning of the Dodd-Frank Act? And the reason people care is because it would have to be reported and tracked. And the reason that Dodd-Frank even bothers with any of this is to try to make sort of the availability of credit more of an even playing field, and check to make sure that there's not exclusions based on ethnicity and background and nationality and things like that. But small businesses are affected by reporting that they are needing and wanting and receiving cash advances. Right, so that makes the difference.
It's business specific.
Yeah, no, it's all sectors.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So a trade group sued, and the feds defended. The trade group said that these cash advances are not credit, that the statute that created Dodd-Frank didn't consider this, and so this is way outside the coloring of the lines, and there was a lack of consideration from the industry when they were thinking about creating these rules. They need public comment, and public comment came in and then was ignored. So that was the attack. And then very recently, a federal magistrate judge, which is the trial level federal court, rejected the plaintiff's challenge to the small business lending data rule. And the court found that merchant cash advances are within the scope of the rule. They are credit and they must be reported. So it's gone almost as far as it can go. and we'll just see if anybody's gonna take it a little bit further. But what's interesting is the consumer, the CFPB is under attack, and because their future is unknown, they're not a favorite of the current administration, the entire rule may be obviated.
Yeah.
Right. So just, I would recommend that you, continue to monitor, and I think you would be in the front lines for that, is to continue to monitor this particular case and this particular development.
Interesting.
So we can pass.
Yes, of course.
Awesome, thank you, Lisa.
How long is that?
2.5, but Josh interrupted you a little bit, so, you know.
I was trying not to, but I'm really bad at interrupting. I don't know why. I feel like it's just a one-on-one conversation, even though it's everybody else. I'm like, oh yeah, let's have a conversation about it. Sorry.
I don't feel like I have the best ears in the room, but I'm hearing like classical music somewhere, so.
It's in the warehouse.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll deal with it then. Might be coming from the ceiling. It's not bad. I just wanted to like identify it.
My name is Melissa Byron, and I am with Ride Wellness, and I'm a health and wellness coach, and I help people where they're at and where they want to go and stay there. So I do a lot of different things. Yes, I help with weight loss, but a lot of it is mental health as well. And then I do coaching with married couples. John and I coach together. John's my husband, and then
We coach each other.
that guy.
We do coach each other a
Coach,
little bit.
yes.
It's interesting.
But also just helping parents with their kids, even their adult kids, and just a lot of different things. So if you're interested in any of that, I would love to have a conversation, because that's really where it starts.
Good website.
I wanted to say something about the age.
Oh, yes.
Gonna be 46 on Sunday.
And I think I know that.
Yes.
But you know, it's such an interesting conversation, because it really is a mental state. And working with the oldest client I had was 92. And when I started working with her, her mental state it's honestly very, very low, and wasn't able to move around very much. And then even with working with her for the first 2 weeks, she was sweeping and mopping her floor in one day. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. And she was like, you don't understand. I would put it in quarters, and I would sweep a quarter a day, and then mop a quarter a day. But I just swept and mopped my whole kitchen floor in one day. And the mental state that she had with that was just like, I can actually move my body, but her countenance was so much higher, because she could do something that she couldn't do for years. I mean, this is years. And it's such a mental state of how old you are and how you can move in your body. So yes, I agree with everyone here. It is such a mental state. So it's really not a number. Age is just a number, but where are you mentally?
That's a success story.
Mic drop.
How do you go after that? Reset the room. All right. Now you have a fresh
Yeah,
start.
so I'm Zane with Zebra Go. We help small business owners get a little bit of their time back, let you focus on what you do best while we handle all the customer communication and just work with you to help you work on your business. Age, let's see. So I'm 38, nearing that 40 mark.
Geezer.
I know. Thank you, Steve.
But just to use Steve, nobody else.
So yeah, as far as old though, like I was thinking, I was like, okay, maybe I'll say like 80 or something. But you know, I'm actually looking forward to that old guy, like just because I just plan on pranking people when I'm old. Yeah, the mental side of it, right? Like I think I'll never be old. My kids are gonna enjoy it so much.
You wear a hat backwards, a lot of bass in your
Yeah.
trunk. That's awesome.
We'll have you go towards the end. Mike usually does a little introduction and a little data mining Mike minute.
Yeah, Mike.
Hey, everybody. Hey, I want to talk to you about the stock market today and this company called Corningware. All right, Corning. They make Corningware that you cook with.
Yeah.
But in 1977, they created fiber optics. Fiber optics has increased a lot because of the data center boom. Because of the data center boom, there's a massive pull for fiber optics, and Corning Incorporated is trading at $80 a share, has increased 2.5 times in the last 2 years, and its ticker symbol GLW. How old is too old? When your password is your birthday and it still works.
Wow.
All right, good one, Mike, thank you. Leslie, go ahead and introduce yourself, just kind of in the vernacular, and then we'll jump into a little bit more of the.
Great.
Yeah.
So I'm Leslie Woodfil. I'm with the Childhood Cancer Coalition, and we serve children with cancer here in the Inland Northwest. We're serving about 133 kids locally who have an active cancer diagnosis. And we've got our Light the Way Gala coming up on the 27th. And we are also going to be in our parking lot this weekend on Sunday cheering for the Boulevard race because it goes right past our offices. So we'll be out there in our neon and our foam fingers and things like that. So we're pretty excited. So I don't mind saying how old I am. I will be 62 in November. And I think every year that you have is a gift. And so you celebrate, right? And I think that way because I call her my G-Meister. She's German grandma, G-Meister. At 80, she was hiring a accordion player and she would get on her table and dance.
Wow.
And I'm like, at 80, she's not old, and she broke a hip and all these kinds of things. And they'd say, you're never going to walk. And she'd say, yeah, I will, and she did.
That's awesome.
So she never let old be old and take her, So I think old is what you decide to be, and I think I'll be G-Meister old. One day.
Awesome. Excellent. And
The time of that event, location, you said on the 27th?
that and the Boulevard race.
Yeah.
What's the timing on those?
So the Light the Way Gala is September 27th. The doors open at 5.
Okay.
And we have silent auction, we have live auction, and an awesome program. We'll hear from a family and child who's in cancer run right now, a child who has survived the cancer diagnosis, and they'll ring the bell.
Awesome.
And then we'll also hear from a mama whose son did not survive his cancer diagnosis. So it's going to be pretty powerful and pretty special. We've got some great live auction items as well.
Where's the location?
At the convention center.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a door fee?
There is, yep. Tickets are $125 each. And you need to get them today because I got to turn in the catering order as soon as I leave here. And then, but we'd love for you to come. Please don't hesitate and make a reservation and come. And then the Boulevard race happens on Spokane Falls Boulevard. And I think it's their 4th annual Boulevard race. And the bell rings, and that's one of our kids who's ringing the bell, who's been a cancer survivor, at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And so if you want to come in our area and cheer, be at 202 East Spokane Falls Boulevard by 9:30, and I'll give you a foam finger.
Yes.
So,
Nice. Awesome. Where do you register for the gala? Sorry.
Can we maybe drop those links?
I just dropped the link in the chat.
You're back.
Check. Yes. Thank you, Rob. Awesome. Yeah, so lots of opportunities there. And we'll get into this, I'm sure, but September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
Right.
So very timely that you're here and all this is great. So
Every
fantastic.
3 minutes, a child is diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
That's like
It's wild. So I am Jonathan Byron. Natalie.
back to Natalie.
Yes.
What I do?
Front row.
I just got up.
Did you want to weigh in further on any of that? I know that you're with Josh, but did you want to weigh in on the age or
On the
events or-
age thing, well, I am now part of the 50 club, so
Awesome.
yes, and I feel younger than I than that age. I think age is just really a thing that tells people how much experience you've had in life and how much knowledge you've been able to gather from that. So
That's good.
yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah.
I'll throw some controversy. 53-year-olds are old.
Taking the gloves off, and here we go.
We all went soft and said, like, it's how you feel. No. 53, you're over the hill. Get over with it.
We gotta like save that little clip for when his first happy birthday. I'm gonna assign that to you, Josh. You can make that happen. Make that happen. That's coming up in what, 20 years?
Somewhere around there.
It is dividing.
So I actually created a list for myself because I have like a whole thing or bunch of things, and it's been mentioned, but I'll get into. I'm actually derailing myself. Stick to the script. I'm Jonathan Byron. I am the host of Friday Conversations. I'm a realtor here in Spokane, and what we're aiming to accomplish here of bringing people together, having that in-person conversation, going deeper than just the surface level is what I bring to real estate. Real estate at its core is a very simple thing. You have a house, I want a house, I buy your house. Done deal. Many years ago, that would happen over a handshake. I want to buy your house. Okay, how much do you think it's worth? Here you go. Here's some cash. Done deal. Since then, we've layered in a lot of complexity, and it is a big and monstrous and can be very overwhelming. But at the end of the day, what real estate is two people or multiple people, but that are exchanging value with each other. And I get the privilege of helping one side or sometimes both sides navigate that process. So if you're at all interested in real estate, like if you want to become a realtor, you want to invest, if you want to buy your first house, I would love to have a conversation, talk about how you can onboard and on-ramp into real estate. It's really fun and exciting. And it's one of the few things that my wife, we talk about a lot. We enjoy a lot of. Real estate is not her thing. So I need an outlet outside of my wife to talk about real estate. So if you want to talk about real estate, hit me up.
And she needs it too.
Yes. Yes. We come together and we spend time doing our own things, and it's all good. Which segues to the first event that I do want to highlight is this Sunday. So go to the race, and then after the race from 4 to 7 at our house, we are having a party. We do one of these every month, but this month it is her birthday, and it lines up perfectly. So it's not a birthday party, but we are gonna celebrate her turning 21 again.
Nice.
Or whatever number that 46 are we this year?
Yeah.
Because we're the same age. Leonidas will remind me I'm 27. That's my target age. If people mistook me for a 27-year-old, that's kind of my target age range. And since I've already segued to that, I will weigh in. This is my thought on age. I think that we age physically as a result of peer pressure. We saw our grandparents, our great-grandparents, there's this natural progression to age. I think that if we didn't have that peer pressure, that this is just what we do, I think that we could hack the system and our bodies could last forever. That being said, as simple as that sounds, it's nearly impossible. We have thousands of years, or depending on your view of the timeline of Earth, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of human existence that suggests that this is the progression, and we kind of like make minuscule changes. But I think like if you could hack that part of your brain that says that this is what you're supposed to do, you could keep your body 27 forever. And so at the same time, I appreciate the perspectives that brought like there is something about like having that distinguished, like I've seen some years on you, and it's like there's something about that that's also attractive, and that's why I settled at 27. So anyway, enough of that. I want to thank IDIC Designs. Rob Reuter brought lunch today. So those of you that are not digitally,
Also.
Oh, yes.
I saw wraps out there, but I gotta bring it wraps.
Credit-
Sorry, wraps.
Credit Fix Joe brought some more wraps. So thanks to you guys as well. Action Business Furniture is where we literally physically are, and they host us here each week. So we always want to give them a shout out and a big thank you, because they really are. They let us do whatever we want, and now they're piping classical music in for us. So it's like a partnership meant to be. I wanted to highlight the Light the Way Gala, but you mentioned that, so I won't double down on that. And then the other thing, and I didn't jot this down, but this is like, I'm super excited. Data Mining Mike is in the works, creating our first ever Spokane Business Award Show. It's going to be in late January. We have a tentative date, January 29th. It's the Thursday that falls around that time. I'm going to distract myself and look at it. January 29th is the tentative potential date. So mark your calendars, January 29th. And the idea is we want to celebrate small business owners, nonprofits, what they've accomplished in the year. And so this is very much like the Grammys, the Emmys, but in Spokane and focused on that small business type of a deal. So very excited to see that coming together. And we want to make sure that it's just the funnest night ever. So I think that's it. I mentioned most of the things. This is Third Friday. It is youth focused. We had one other young person that was going to be here. She couldn't make it. But if you have young people that are approximately this bandwidth, I'm waiting for you to get into the camera. It's not.
It's struggling.
It's struggling. There he is. There he is. On the third Fridays especially, any Friday, but especially third Fridays, we would love to have young people here bringing their perspective to the topic that we're talking about. So I think enough introductions. That filled up almost the first full half of our time together. Let's jump into it.
Great.
So I want to just kind of like start with the perspective of, you gave us a little bit of statistics about childhood cancer. We want to talk about like generally the generation, but like what do you see in terms of how do kids, when they find out that they've been diagnosed with cancer, what kind of difference do you see there? Not that you necessarily get to talk to adults that are dealing with the same thing, but what's some of that nuance maybe that you've seen?
Well, most of the kids are just real fighters. You know, they're like, I got stuff to do still, you know, and it's interesting. I believe that oftentimes they feed off of like who are in their environment, you know, cancer is a tough deal, but when you're looking at these kids, some of them are just babies, you know, and they're still fighting when they're 15 years old, you know, so that changes who they could have been, probably, you know, because they're kind of stuck within the walls of the hospital kind of thing. And then you have kids who are diagnosed at 14 or 16 or something, and you see that they've got a network of friends that they belong to. Some of those friends drop off, and some of those friends become very much stronger. Some of the friends, or some of the people they didn't know were friends, have become friends now because they're there to support them. And I think that's interesting to see how kids have such a heart, you know, to come in and say, I'm here for you. You know, I know it's hard, but I'm here for you. And just like I said, to see these kids who are fighting cancer is amazing with the courage that they have. Sure, they cry and they throw up and they don't like the things that are happening, but to be able to just chat with you and you come in the room, you know, and you're like, how are you so intelligent, you know? And that's the thing too, is, you know, here's these kids, they're learning medical terms that you're like, I don't know what a PICC line is, you know, but they do, and they can tell you what the chemicals are in the bag and what it's going to affect and what cells it's going to hit, and you're just like, you shouldn't know that. You know, you shouldn't know that. But they do, and they can communicate it very effectively to you, and with a not only like a compassion for themselves of what's happening, but compassion for other kids on the floor as well. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So you touched on a few things, and I want to bring this out to the room. the kind of the topic that we had talked about and what I'm excited about is what is different about the younger generations. And even I'm curious your thoughts on like what's different you compared to me, but then like your sister Isabella is 9, 8, 9, 8. She's 8.5. Yeah. I was okay, I'm gonna tell on myself. I was at a PTG meeting Wednesday of this week, and I kind of came in like they'd already started the introductions. And so like I know the feeling, right? And one of the questions was like, what grade is your student in? And well, she was in second grade all year last year. So I'm used to saying my second grader, my 8-year-old, my 7-year-old, like, and so I was like, I was second, third, and then I just got stuck. So I'm in a room of parents that all know what grade their kid is in. The principal was like, she's in third grade. I'm like, thank you, third grader. So putting yourself, I'm not putting you on the spot. We'll get to it, but your perspective of how Isabella is different than you and your friends. And then kind of those of you that are parents or any of you that were younger than you are now, like, so this is the thought that I keep having. You're talking about kids coming and showing up for their for their friends. I remember being a kid, if I heard that somebody that I knew had cancer, like I think I don't know what I wouldn't have known what to do.
Right.
And I certainly wouldn't have showed up for them because I would have felt uncomfortable and awkward and all of the things. So I'm very curious, just like observationally, what is different about this younger generation? What are we seeing? And Lena has made the comment like this. Cell phones is what maybe makes the difference. And I think that's an astute observation. The other thing I want to kind of keep in frame as we're having this conversation is what do we do about that? What do we as small business owners, how do we shift or change what we're doing to make our offering helpful to future generations and keep it relevant? So there's a lot there. Grab one of those threads and pull on it a little bit is kind of the invitation.
I think for me, when we were younger, John and I we have a friend that her brother had cancer. And his anniversary just came up actually just a few days ago. No, this was when we were much, much younger. And John went and visited him way more often than I did because they had a very close relationship and a mentor relationship. Actually, John was one of his mentors. And I remember the first time going with John and I was like, I only know Shane as healthy. And then would see him once in a while when he's, not sick. And I was like, I remember being so nervous. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? How can I help him? And I went in there and I was in awe because he was asking me, how can I help you? Mm-hmm. How can, a man of faith, how can he pray for me? How can, how's your relationship with John? And I was just like, oh my gosh, here's this younger man. I was early 20s and I'm like, how am I showing up for him? But he's really showing up for me. And he was doing that for not just me, for his entire family, for everyone that walked in those doors, the nurses, the doctors. And it really made me think, he knows, and he did pass, he knows death is right there. But do I live out my life like death is right there? And the strength that he had, it has always stuck with me. Obviously, I'm quite emotional just thinking about it and talking about him. But when we live out our lives, like, how does this apply to right now, right? How do we live out our lives? Like, death is there, but how do we live in the now? and how are we helping other people in our life? And I think that is what just came to my mind when you're talking about, I mean, yes, he knew all the medical terms and all the things, and I'm just like blown away. And I was, in the nursing field at that time, and I was just like, this is just mind-boggling, because he's literally, and I've seen this in other kids and other people that I'm around that have illnesses, and they're way more aware of death is going to come. It may not come tomorrow, but it's going to come. And how can they live their best life right now? And how can they help other people? So that's. That's.
I had an experience with some young people in this not that different situation. I was not the cancer patient, but it was my first degree relative.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time I was running a chess club in high school. And so there were, lovely young people. And we had also a grade school chess club, and we worked them together so that there would be mentors, but it was all through chess.
Mm-hmm.
And so these were very nice, very caring young people. And so when they got wind that a relative of mine was in this situation and it was going to lead to me being erratically available, right? It was going to be a weird leadership, because you just never know when someone is that ill. I'm sure your friend Shane was the same way, right? Every day is a new day and you just don't know.
Mhm.
So I think they all discussed it, and they elected this one young man to speak to me. And he came to me, and I think he was 17 at the time, maybe 16. And he said, we are here for you, and anything that you need. And and such a young age. And I appreciated it very much, because everybody else was just all up in my grill about where are you, and well, I'm at the hospital. That's where I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my phone is off. So, he made this offer, and he said the whole club, we're all here for you, and it was mixed, young men and young women, and all different backgrounds, very, very diverse. And my instant reaction to that was not, oh, now I have good support. My instant reaction to that was, I could never have done that.
Mm-hmm.
When I was that age, and even maybe now, I just could never have been elected as, like from a group like this, to go talk to someone who is like falling apart and, having a meltdown and never there, and, just like completely frayed. And so I thought that somehow, and these are not particularly privileged children, this is public school. And I thought, somehow they have picked up some skills to understand what, to empathize with what I was going through. And they barely knew me. I mean, I was just doing volunteer work in my community.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a chess player. I somehow wound up with this club. And well, I went to a meeting. You only go to one. You only need to go to one. So you were saying about young people,
Yeah.
and I just find that as a group, they have a skill set that no one at my age, assuming time travel, would have been able to manage. And I would have, like you, I would have run away. I would have been too awkward and too lacking in self-confidence, and I don't know what to do here, so I'm going to do nothing, and I'm just going to absent myself, and someone else who has better skills than I am can. And so it was a real revelation for me. And I know that young people get a lot of criticism, and I don't think that high achieving, interactive, social skills, very socially skilled young people get any credit at all. Right? All you ever hear about for young people is, right, just get off your phone, well, why? All the information in the world is in there. So, but somehow they've worked out, a skill set that I think will benefit them for life, not just with their family, but with their friends, with their colleagues, with people they barely know. So I was very much encouraging the dialogue about what I was going through. I know it was, depressing, And then eventually my relative died and, then there was all of that. But just, knowing that I had the support of, I don't know, 8 teenagers, made a huge difference. And those teenagers decided to be supportive, all by themselves. So that is, I think, a big difference. You were asking about how young people react differently, and you were saying that they know so much. They're so sophisticated about medical things that nobody else knows. So I think that they're very impressive in their reactions and their responses. And I think we're very lucky that they're, the leaders of tomorrow.
I agree with that. One of the things too that I see is like at the Boulevard race, we've got a group of girls who are softball team, right? They are coming to be part of that cheer squad, right? So you've got, when I was a kid, I knew nobody who had cancer, nobody. And now every kid knows somebody who had cancer or has cancer. These kids are seeing it. They're saying, I want to make a difference in lives. And I don't think as a kid, I thought exactly like that, but they're seeing a chance for philanthropy. They're seeing a chance at empathy, and they're acting on it. And I think that's so inspiring to, having generations of kids coming up that are saying, I want to do something for somebody else. I don't want something just for me. And, I thought back to when I was a kid, what was the first thing I learned about philanthropy or giving back or not being self-centered? And, my biological dad would always bring us a pound of bacon, a music box with a spinny thing in it, and a bottle of White Shoulders perfume. Like, am I ever gonna wear that, right?
Gosh.
And,
I remember that.
yeah, I had like music boxes up to here, right?
Yeah.
So one year he came and he gave me my pound of bacon, but he said, I gave the money that I would have used to buy these other things to a family who didn't have money. And that's the first time I ever heard of giving to others, and I thought to myself, I gotta make a note of that, but now it's like you guys, that's just what you do, you see somebody and you say, I gotta help them out. I gotta do something different. They're having a hard day, and you hear a lot about kids bullying and stuff like that. But we need to hear about the kids who are wrapping their arms around other kids and saying,
and their whole community.
yeah, just don't listen to them, okay? There's other people out here who care, who think that those people are idiots, just concentrate on you and know that you've got support. And I think that's amazing to see kids develop that way. So I'm excited for kids too coming up.
So to your point there, I feel like I genuinely saw this in school. Like I don't know if nowadays we qualify them as like what you guys think of bullies, but for every one kid that was being mean, there was definitely like 3 or 4 other kids right next to the kid that was getting like bullied, saying, hey, just don't listen to them. Like, they don't, it's not that big of a deal. Just focus on you. You got this. Continue on with your day. You're gonna be fine. It's awesome. Yeah. It definitely wasn't like ganging up on one person. It was more one person trying to gang up on somebody and then other kids saying, hey, no, back off.
Yeah.
So,
and that's such a difference from the generation just before that, right? Because that's where you heard about like the word bullying. I didn't hear bullying either when I was a kid. You just it was the thumper rule, you can't say something nice, don't say something at all, or just be nice to people, right? Not that hard. But then all of a sudden there was a mean group, and now it's coming back. Like, I'm gonna stand beside you and you just go away, which I think is interesting. And like fundraising, kids are also doing fundraising that you're thinking, it used to be the lemonade stand so I could go buy a bicycle, right? It's me. Now you've got these kids doing these lemonade stands to give money to their friend whose their house burned down, or to some kid who's sick, or to, a family who just doesn't have enough money. They're doing it for others. And I think that's such a beautiful change in the youth.
I think there's more activities now available for youth too, to stay in that are healthy. I think that was one of the things when I was growing up, like my dad was really big into the community, and we pulled 2 wagons from our house down to the local baseball field full of bats and balls and just, miscellaneous hodgepodge old stuff. But, we'd go out there and play scrap ball every summer, and that's pretty much what we focused on, that and swimming. But I mean, it was more wholesome type activities. And if you were more of a mindset person and you kind of all of a sudden establish yourself as the community leader, it's easy to be the bully when you're the leader because nobody else is challenging you. But nowadays with online presence and reputation and, Facebook reviews and Google reviews, I think it kind of simmered it down and leveled that playing field a little bit. And I think that bullying thing, that concept that's happening now is really just people just trying to stand out, trying to make a new, leader type position for themselves. And I think just again, they get washed over by the internet, they get washed over by their public views, and no, this guy's doing good stuff. He just doesn't get looked at. So I think that kind of helps level that playing field, and just, more activities that people are involved in, the softball or tournaments. And, our kids are in softball, so we're super busy in the softball and tournaments all summer. But just kids being involved, I think that's the most important thing, to keep them out of trouble and keep them involved. I mean, this is great, man. Having you here, that was inspiring. I walked in, I even heard you on Facebook talk when I walked in. I'm like, yes, it's cool to have young people a part of this kind of stuff, because you can take these messages back and you'll be able to spread, the love that way. And I say love a lot just because I think that's a term that is forgotten. I say I'm gonna hug you, and I'm, guy to guy, I don't even care. I'm gonna hug you because I'm a hugger, because I love people. I love, taking care of people, and I love just the community. So I think that's really important. Yeah, except for Steve. Because he's 56. In terms of cancer stuff, I've had a lot of experiences with it, unfortunately. I mean, 7, my grandpa passed. I got to see my dad cry for the first time. I was too young to really establish emotions and understand that that's what was going on. But when I was 9, my sister was diagnosed with a brain tumor the size of a softball. She struggled with that for a year and a half, came home, all the treatment, surgery, everything, nothing. And just the suffering, the whole thing, just misery. I hate even reliving it in my mind, but it's family. And then my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer at maybe 11 or 12. She fought hard and she's recovered. So, she's 30 years past that now, and they're 25 years past that. So there's 2 sides to the coin. And I think the difference really is, I think it's already kind of been insinuated, is just, the level of love and the level of support that someone has, I think, is a direct correlation to the outcome. Not in all cases. I mean, Jackie got all the love in the world. She was adorable. She always said, I see angels through the last 6 months of the fight. It was really weird. It was really weird. Like, we even record her saying, she's like, Mommy, you don't see the angel right there? And Bert's like, chills. You're like, what the heck is going on here? But it was common. It was always like that. So, I mean, that kind of added to my level of, I guess, religion and how that all kind of stuff pulls in. And, I'm more spiritual. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going into all that right now, but it definitely helps. It definitely helps to have the feeling of a greater good and a greater power that's overwatching us. And I think that helps us with our transformation into the next journey, whatever that may look like. But I think having that as a support system in and of itself, and then other people using that as a foundation to grow off of, I think is a very, very strong tactic. I don't know is really well utilized, but maybe it's not my experience in my past, but hopefully others have gotten that. That's all I got to say about that. So.
I was just thinking along this conversations I have with my kids, and we always talk about, especially if someone wasn't nice to them during the day, or they struggled with something, we always try to bring back, okay, well, have you thought about what that person's going through? What are they going through? And we just try to change that mindset of, yes, that's frustrating and they shouldn't treat you poorly, but what's going on in that person's life? Just think about what might be happening and give them a little bit of grace to, we don't have to buy into everything that's told to us or done to us even. And not that we excuse bad behavior, and, we need to confront that. And, but are we looking at people as people who are having a bad day, who might not have a great home life, who don't have the social connections? Maybe they are on their phone all the time. We don't know. So we can either respond negatively, and there's a show I like to watch, Doctor Who, and he says violence only extends violence. So again, negativity only extends negativity. You're not coming up with, yeah, I'm gonna fight this negativity. No. If we can approach it with understanding and care and then hopefully some love, then that's where we make a change. And
It's been paradigm shift. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's what Stephen Covey really pitches hard is, the paradigm shift concept where, somebody's really mean at you, all of a sudden, like, you're just like in your head, I hate this guy, he's a bully, he's a jerk, whatever. And then you find out that his wife is in the hospital, he just got diagnosed with cancer, and doesn't know how to deal with it, he's got 3 kids, his whole world's kind of crashing in his mind. That's why he's a jerk. And all of a sudden you feel like the jerk because you judged him or you were mean back. And so I can't beat that drum like you hard enough. People are in different situations and we have to try to not judge first, try to lead with empathy and heart. And like you said, treating them right will overcome the situation, whether they get through whatever they're dealing with or not. But treating people right, that's key, man. I like it, Zane. Good job.
I think one thing too is that, and correct me, but I think that parents are teaching to look for mental health opportunities for kids.
Yeah.
Where, before you had, parents who were just like, well, watch them back or whatever, or just ignore them. Words can never hurt you, right? Well, words can hurt you. And I think that parents are now moving forward and teaching their kids that word you said, that thing you said can hurt, And so you've got a generation of kids being raised with the thought of mental wellness for somebody else as well. So
Yeah.
That strays a little bit into the thought that I was having, and I know Lena has shared a little bit, and I do want to, we're getting close to the end already, so I want to hold space for some folks that haven't shared yet or have been a little bit more quiet. And I also just want to, something that I had like an aha moment not very long ago is that the younger generation, even like really young, like Brooke is not here. I'm gonna actually see, because this is a side thing, but I'm gonna do a quick screen share. Brooke that sometimes comes, her son is let me see if I can get this. So there's our display. It's coming up, and then this is, hopefully it'll work. No, it's not doing, oh wait, no, I gotta go here. I'm hoping this will be worth it for everybody. So this is Standout Masteries coming up. So Brooke's son, this is a picture she shared, is working at the keyboard, and she said something about, I asked him to send one email and he fell apart. So even as young as Teddy, there is so much more perception in young minds, young eyes, that it has not yet been pushed down by experience and instruction. When he observes something and I tell him how it is, whatever, he says, if he's observing something in the room and he says to me, oh, I noticed that, I don't know, Mom and Lisa were sitting close to each other. And I tell him, oh, that's because they don't like each other and they're trying to, I'm giving him an interpretation of something that he had this pure observation. And I think that when we switch that script and really genuinely curious, like what are you feeling? What are you observing? And not as best as we can, because we're all old, clearly established that, as much as we can, not assign our perception to it, but really gain from that, younger perception. I think there's a ton of value in that. So
sit back and teach me.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
I want to be curious about what is it? And that's, since I've made that switch, I feel like our relationship has gone deeper and I've gained more than I would have otherwise. So yeah, he's nodding like the sage little elder that he is. Yes, Dad, I'm glad you finally figured that out.
When you were saying that we've gotten on a deeper level, his genuine body language was,
Yeah.
Dad, I feel like we're communicating better.
I was
So, you saw that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think genuinely you guys have made a better connection.
Sorry, it'll make me teary, but the look in his eyes
Yeah, I saw
as
that.
you were talking,
Yes.
I was like, oh,
That's awesome. It was genuine, right? It was
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
man,
It
I'm
was
proud you're
hard.
here. I'm happy you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as adults, just picking up on this, I think we need to always keep in mind that we don't know every experience they're having. We don't know everything they're observing. So to pigeonhole something and say, well, you know,
They're too young.
they're too young, they don't understand this, doesn't fly because they're dealing with it.
It's true.
You know, at my age, when I was Leonidas's age and things, we were dealing with some very heavy things that were not discussed in the community. And actually, I lost a friend to suicide at the age of 10. And, you know, the thing is that by and large, the adult population was dealing with it on a different thing. They were telling us, oh no, it was just an accident. It was nothing. But we were much more aware that something had happened, something traumatic had happened because my friend Billy, was found hanging and his sister was rendered mute for years later. She could not talk about what had happened. And so as children, we were much more cognizant of the complexities of adult things. And I think that's what I hear a lot when I hear of children dealing with cancer. They're having to grow up quick because to beat cancer is a mental game as much as it is the science of it. They have to grasp it and they have to learn, to address those issues. And so, yes, we can, be grateful for their resilience and the things they're learning from us, and the technology is exposing them to a level of the world we never had. On the other hand, we also have to remember they are still growing up faster than we ever imagined human being developing. And so we have to remember our future is going to be different because of that.
Yeah, and it's physically, they're growing faster because of environmental things. Emotionally, they're growing faster. Things we never thought of to express, they now express, it's amazing the differences. And I think back like with how as business people, can we help these kids too? And it's like, well, what if we start bringing kids in to business early, right? To be able to see what it's like to be a business person and what kinds of things you experience. And then on another level, how to deal with things that are coming up to them as well. So.
Yeah, I agree. I was trying to get Brooke weighed in that she is, oh, there she is. Let's see if this will work. So I'm trying to get Brooke to join us in Zoom. She weighed in on the Facebook that she is watching from home. And we are really close to the end here. So Brooke, as soon as you can, yep, she's there. Okay. And you're not muted. So see if you, yep. Hop in, say hello. Oh, my mic's down.
Can you see me?
Okay, we got you now. Go ahead.
Hi.
Everybody, new baby.
So Brooke, you've been listening in. Teddy is like, for me, the quintessential Leonidas in the room. Like he's just a few years behind, and the older you get, the shorter that gap feels. Like it's like, oh my, 14 years is blink, you miss it. But what's been your experience? He's your first, so tell us a little bit about your experience with bringing him into the world.
I mean, it's great. It's very exciting. I think it's interesting to see, I mean, just how early too, there's like these kind of preconceived notions, like, so just this year, 2025 is generation beta. So right when he was born, I was already seeing these articles that were like, yeah, like predictions for Generation Beta, and then also Generation Beta is a horrible name, and like there's just kind of already this like, oh, they're gonna grow up, constantly attached to screens and all this kind of stuff, and so it was just sort of being thrown into like he just arrived, and there's already this feeling of like having to fight against like the stereotypes and like what the options are going to be for him and all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit wild, but I just like that this conversation has been focused on like the positives of the younger generation. I feel like so much conversation about the younger generation is like what they're not doing and how they're not working hard enough or doing all these things. And I just think each generation has their own like struggles, and it's a different world than it was however many 50 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Really appreciate that perspective. Thank you, Brooke.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good spot for us to kind of end on, because as even Brooke, as you were sharing that experience that you had, that was the immediate thought I had, is how refreshing it was to be in a group talking about the positive and what we're looking forward to from this generation and the next. And now we have I have a new vocabulary, Generation Beta. That was new to me because I don't have any in Generation Beta. So I think, Leslie, thank you so much for being here. Any closing thoughts to take us out?
Well, I'm just honored to be able to be here and share with you guys about these amazing kids and kids who are coming up. I mean, to see the heart in kids that are coming forward and what a difference they're going to make in our community is amazing. Just it gives you hope.
Awesome. Well, I will just kind of speak more to the online audience, but to the audience here as well. If you can think of somebody that has a young person or maybe even has a negative view of the younger generation, I think this would be a great video to send them. And it's just, it's not, I don't think there was anything in here that was judgmental, like, oh, you shouldn't, because there is a reason to like encourage young people to use their cell phones less. And there's a lot of importance there, but I think this was a good mindset shift, which is really, you mentioned Stephen Covey, like what you look for, and I think this was Yogi Berra, but like what you look for, you're going to find. And that's really true. If we're looking for this next generation to really royally mess everything up, that's what we're going to discover that they've done. But if we're looking to help them build a better life for us, because we are going to need them to like change our diapers and stuff like that. I hate to say it, but it just comes up eventually. No, none of us. Like, I'm out before that. Sure, fair enough.
That's why they're working so hard on robots.
Yes.
He's like, I'm out, don't worry about it.
Bingo, exactly. So share this, and just even if it's not sharing the video, share the idea that like, hey, look for that positive thing. Thank you for coming. I wanted to throw out, so this Sunday, Boulevard Race, next Saturday,
Like the Way Gala.
the gala.
And that's our main fundraiser.
Excellent.
So-
Yeah, so look for that link. We'll make sure that that's shared, or it's already been shared. Party at our house this weekend, 4 to 7. Everybody's invited. If you don't have the invite already, hit us up. We'll get it to you.
Dave.
Stand up.
Dave,
mastery.
tomorrow, Standout Mastery.
Yeah, we're SSBE has a presence at the event on Summit, so
Nice.
I
Already scheduled.
welcome you to
Let's go.
And I think we have an
I'm
extra seat
registered.
if you want to.
No, I'm already registered.
You're already there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm already
well,
signed up, got my tickets.
all right. So we will see you guys, some of you tomorrow. We'll see some of you Sunday at our house. You guys, you'll see some people on Sunday, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Mike, take us out.
And that was really good. That was a spiritual time, everybody. A lot of good processing. And you know what? That was valuable. And we want you to hook up Leslie and hook up those poor kids dying of cancer and give her some page ranking and help her with this gala. And we will see you all next week. Bye.